Greetings, team. Welcome to Monday Morning Pearls, brought to you by Span the Chasm. My name is Randy Remersma. Before we get into the Pearl, I want to encourage you to go out and listen to our podcast, Uncommon Sales Success. It's a compilation of interviews with sales leaders across the space, some great learnings in here. Why does it matter to you? Because there's very practical and immediately actionable advice that's going to come out of these things. Learnings from mistakes, best practices we're seeing playing out in the field, stuff that's going to help you be more successful immediately. Where do you go get them? Go to spanthechasm.com/podcast. All the information you need is there. It'll point you to all the different platforms that you might like. So with that, on to this week's Monday Morning Pearl.
Hey guys, welcome to Monday Morning Pearls. I am Ronnell Richards and I'm joined by Randy Remersma. You doing good today, Randy?
I'm with you. How much better could I be?
Man, I couldn't be any better unless I was this guy. He's a little better than me. So Randy, everyone knows at Span the Chasm, we're all about driving results, right? And so I want you to share with the audience, share with the sales leaders out there, what are some ways that they can start focusing on driving results right now, today? If maybe they're underperforming, maybe they're doing all right, but they want to go ahead and kickstart it here for the second half of the year.
Great question. So if I am a sales leader and I'm trying to drive some change, we are in the change business, right? So if I'm a sales leader and I'm trying to drive change, there's a handful of things that we see people not paying attention to that I think are absolutely critical. Number one, I want to drive some change. So I'm going to train my team, right? Whether it's with us, or, an outsourced version or an in-source version, whatever you want to do. Got some ideas, let's talk about it. But that's another Monday Morning Pearl for later. We're going to try some change inside the sales organization. The thing that people miss is they've got to make sure that change is driven across the entire organization. If sales behavior changes, that means marketing behavior probably needs to change. That might be order management has to change. That might mean engineering product has to change. Might be the executive team has to change. But so many people look to do change in isolation with sales, forgetting that the entire infrastructure.
So you're talking about cultural change, right?
Cultural change, because it can't be an island. Because if it's just an island, the system will reject the change, and then you will have spent the money, frustrated your team, and not be moving farther forward. So that's one. It's got to be across the entire organization. The other thing that I think is so critical is if we're going to do some change, you're going to roll out change with your team, is you got to make sure that you got an adoption plan in place. That means after whatever the event is, maybe it's sales kickoff, maybe it's a workshop, whatever it might be, we got to make sure that we have like field exercises, we got coaching, we have an adoption plan that for a period of time, 60, 90, 150 days afterwards, that we're nurturing those new behaviors that we want, because otherwise they'll starve.
I love that.
They'll starve. And the third thing that I want to talk about is you got to be realistic. How many times I've talked to a sales leader before we've engaged, and they're like, I want 100% of my team doing the new stuff. And I'm like, you are pot smoking high, because that ain't going to happen. You're going to get like 30% of the people might do massive change, 30% of the people do some change, and 40% of the people are going to be like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. And so when we model change, we have to be very realistic about the expectation. You're not going to get a 50% improvement in 100% of your people. You're going to get massive improvement in some improvement in others, and some are going to be basically, this isn't for me. And that's got to be okay until they miss their number, then you got to say goodbye.
That's my next question for you. Change is hard, right?
Change
is hard. So when you encounter that, no doubt, as a sales leader, when you're implementing these changes, when you're trying to drive results, you're trying to drive these changes, you're going to have people that push back. Do you have any advice for sales leaders as they're faced with that?
So on that one, I got tons of advice. Again, that's a whole nother MMP. But there's two things you got to look at right away. Number one, skill set. Can they learn this? Will set. Are they willing to learn this? And if you don't have skill set plus will set, then you've got a fruitless effort, and it's going to just be tough. And the last area, and this is where it's so critical for the sales leadership team to step in, and that is an inspection mindset. If we have done something that's going to drive change in the organization, we have to make sure that we inspect what we expect. We've heard that phrase. It's a reason that there's that phrase. If we're not regularly inspecting that new behavior, then we're telling the team that it's not actually important.
Yeah.
When we are regularly expecting it, then we're telling them this is very important. We invested this money. We're going to inspect this on a regular basis. You need to get online with this stuff. So those are four areas that if you're going to change sales teams' behavior, you really got to pay attention to. Is it organizational? The entire organization that supports the sales team. Does it have an adoption plan built into it long past the event so that people will be able to nurture those skills and turn those into habits, because we really want habits to form?
Yeah.
Are we going to, do we have realistic expectations as far as how much change can happen with who, all that good stuff. And then are we going to do the hard work of inspecting it? Because it's without that inspection process, ain't going to happen.
I
just happen to know that.
I love it. I think that's great advice, Randy. If you guys, I think that's a great place for them to start. You guys need any help with that? Reach out to us. Reach out to this guy. We're out there. Span the chasm. Love to help you out.
Love to have a conversation with you. Thank you.